Sup, you fools! Matt, ESCunited, your favorite Eurovision channel. Welcome, welcome to our weekly show, Mattitude, the Eurovision live chat, where we are going to talk about the news, the Eurovision news of the week. And then you will have to have a conversation. You can ask your questions and then we'll see where it goes from there. We do that every week, right now, every Saturday at 1900 Central European Time. But within the next week or two, surprise announcement, we're going to do 2 a week because this week has been so busy with news. It's like I have no time to squeeze it all into one live stream. So we're going to pick up the pace a little, and I'm going to do one midweek as well. I'm still figuring out what date. I'm thinking Wednesdays, but I'll let you know up front. But anyway, welcome. We have so much to talk about. So let me first of all say a quick hi to Niels Reviews Music. How are you doing? There's Marius Christoforo is right there. Hello from Cyprus. We'll be talking about you today. Who else is greeting me? Kyle Koala is right there. Elena Papagram. Hello everyone. Roy Moreno is back in the house. Good to have you all. Well, I explained to you how this is all going to pan out. First of all, I got a lot of questions about Matt. I haven't seen any videos from you this past week. What is going on? Well, as you know, as much as I would love to do Eurovision full-time, it doesn't pay the bills, right? So I do have a full-time job, and this week I had to travel quite a bit. And I just came back Thursday night, and I just didn't have the time. But the time is over, because today will be the first video that's coming up besides of my live streams, where I'm going to review the Estonian, the Estilal songs, and I'm going to do Latvia, I'm going to do Hungary. So expect starting today, big pinky swear, a bunch of videos coming your way, so don't feel concerned. So, as I said, we're going to talk about the news, and then we'll answer your questions, so feel free to ask related questions throughout the show, and at the very end, we have a general Q&A, so any general questions, hold them until then, just so we can kind of stay on track and not jump back and forth. So, anyway, let's delve right into it, and you all heard about probably Kevin Hart is not going to host the Oscars. He stepped down, but who cares about that? They can have their own issues, but we in the Eurovision world, which is so much better anyway, we also have some rumors about who is going to host actually the Eurovision Song Contest 2019 in Tel Aviv. Now keep in mind, and I'm going to put that disclaimer out there right now, this has only been reported by some Israeli outlets. It has not been confirmed by the broadcast.com and certainly not by the EBU, so this is all subject to change. But if we believe the reporting, we'll have 2 main hosts guiding us through the show, and then as well a green room host, right, potentially 2. And the 2 main ones are expected to be Aristal and Bar Refaeli. Now keep in mind, it's very important, I'm really bad with pronouncing names, so I will butcher a lot of them throughout the night. That's part of the fun, right? But those 2 individuals are expected to be the hosts of the contest. We don't have like 4 people on the main stage anymore like we had in Lisbon. And this has been reported by Ynet. Enet, I don't know how to pronounce that one. They're going to be the 2 main hosts guiding us through the 2 semifinals as well as the grand final, so the entire week. They will have some help within the green room, having a separate presenter for that, and that kind of adds up to the lineup. Now, the news, as I said, not confirmed completely, but I feel fairly confident that this is exactly where we're going. Now, you're wondering maybe, who are these individuals? Aristal, an actor, TV host, and also was the Israeli commentator for the contest last year, this year still technically, 2018. Apparently, this was the first time, from what I'm reading, that Israel had a commentator since 1995, so over 20 years. Interesting, huh? And now he's hosting. He hosted previously other shows, just like The Wheel of Fortune or Big Brother. He's pretty well known in Israel from what I'm hearing. And the other person is Bar Refaeli, as I pointed out, a supermodel. a television host, actress, and businesswoman. Apparently, she's pretty wealthy from what I'm hearing. She was actually the highest paid model in Israel a few years ago in 2013, and the same year in 13, she actually started hosting the X Factor in Israel. So both of them have plenty of experience. They were not just pulled somewhere randomly to do that. So I'm fairly confident that they are going to do well. I would like to hear from you what your thoughts are on the hosts. Make sure to add ESCunited me in the chat so I can see a post and know that they are related to this topic. I'll always jump in. I see already some other posts to other topics. I will talk about them as well, so don't think I'm ignoring you. But there's also, just as a little side note, Lucy Ayub. She's rumored to become the Green Room presenter or host, so helping along the two main hosts. And she previously, she's a TV and radio presenter for the broadcaster Khan, and you may have seen her before. If you paid attention to the results, she was the Israeli spokesperson giving the 12 points from Israel last year. And now she apparently gets to be on the actual show. That was a quick promotion there, right? So that is really exciting. Having the hosts, we have to wait and see. We're not going to see a whole lot until the actual rehearsals start in May. But we should pay attention to some of their clips and see how they come across, if they have like a good persona, a charisma. And ultimately, we have to judge and see if they have the proper chemistry, right? When you have two people working together, the chemistry needs to be there. And hopefully that is the case, and we have to wait and see. But this just means another step closer to the contest. We have the hosts now. Little information here and there being released. This is always really exciting. So I will talk more about the other selections soon. I just want to make sure that you're all aware the hosts are out and about. We have the information, and I am really excited. So, here, this is what we have. Let's move on to the next topic. And I see some people are already throwing out have you heard kind of statements, and that is Cyprus. Now, as you may have paid attention, we talked about that in our last live stream, the previous week, last week, about Cyprus becoming the new Bulgaria, as like trying to build this hype around their entry. Give me 1 second. My nose is runny. Yeah. Okay, better. Cyprus team, Cypriotic team, is really trying to create a hype around their entry this year, kind of like Bulgaria did in 2018. And I think they've been pretty successful. They have released two tweets previously talking about, giving little hints here and there. And another one was just posted, and it was just a picture. And when I first looked at it, I was too dumb to get it. It says RE and then like a play button. But to me, it looked like a D. So I thought, ooh, the song's called Red. But then I was like, oh, no, replay. Because it's the play button. Get it? Play. Anyway. So that's what we all believe is going to be the case. That the name of the song is going to be Replay. Now, the name could mean a lot, but Replay certainly does not sound about like a ballady kind of title to me. So I expect another pretty good beat to that. And yes, I see people already talking about it. Cyprus released the song title will be called Replay. There's also a picture with the male jacket and a neck. Yes, so speaking about the male singer situation, so initially there were some other names being thrown out there. The biggest favorite, or like in the rumor mill, if you will, was Tamta, right? They were like, okay, she apparently has been chosen internally, but based on that picture, now people reading into this, okay, it's not going to be her. It is now going to be a male singer. And, of course, there will be other names being thrown around. One of them is Vangelis, and I'm going to butcher that one, Kakoriotis. I don't know him. So I had to look him up as well to see who he is. But apparently he is now the new favorite to represent, actually, Cyprus. And we have to wait and see if that is going to be the case, because some of the rumors, as we've seen so far, have not been coming true. So we have to be patient. But it's fun to get like pieces here and there, and I expect Cyprus to be now, before we even know the song, become the betting odds favorite. Remember Bulgaria was always high up, even before we even knew the song for that, because it did so well and they created a big hype. I have a feeling the same thing is going to happen to Cyprus this year. If you have any questions about Cyprus or thoughts, make sure to post them at ESCunited so I will see what's going on. Jordan ESC, by the way, just to go back to the host real quick, is saying, I'd personally like to see someone with a comedic background as a host. Knows that the jokes in 2017 and 18 were quiet. Yeah, sterile. I agree with that, and I said that previously as well in one of my videos. If you want to make it funny, have funny people on there. Don't put your standard hosts hoping that the jokes will be delivered, right? If you're not a comedian by trade or you just don't have that timing, it's just going to fall flat. Yes, I know. I know what some of you are going to say. Well, that's part of the Eurovision experience. Corny jokes. Jokes. What is jokes? Jokes. And maybe true, but come on, from a professional perspective, I want people who know how to deliver a joke. Otherwise, just focus on the hosting. Make like a little quip here and there, but don't try to be super funny. But what I'm hearing, the male host, he apparently is pretty funny and has some comedy experience. So fingers and toes crossed that this will actually work out on the Eurovision stage. So, yes, correct. What Gil Kagan is saying, just to repeat, Aristotle is very experienced and is a comedian who used to be on many sketch shows and, of course, hosted many live shows like Big Brother with the comedic edge and punches. That's what I heard. So hopefully he will be able to deliver that on the big Eurovision stage. My fingers and toes are crossed. Obviously, the host should not take over the entire show. And they should just supposed to be kind of the guide and just fill in the gaps. But you don't want to have it awkward. And you want to get to know the hosts a little, right? That was my issue in Lisbon. We had 4 hosts, and you just didn't know who was who. There were just too many, and they were everywhere. There was a disconnect. So just have a little less people on stage, and I think it'll work out way, way better. So anyway, these are so far pretty good news. We have the hosts. Cyprus is going to keep us entertained and on the edge of our seats as far as their entry and their act is concerned. But a lot of other stuff has happened. So, for instance, in case we were talking about it before, there was the possibility or like rumors that there would be a small chance that Kosovo could actually end up taking part in Eurovision 2019. I always said that's not going to be the case because there was supposed to be a vote this December to see whether or not Kosovo should be accepted, the broadcaster from Kosovo, to become a full member of the European Broadcasting Union. And if that were to be the case, they would then be eligible to enter the contest. Now, I never thought that they would be able to be allowed to be in 2019 anyway, because it's way past the deadline. But some people thought that would be a possibility. But now all your hopes have been shattered because the vote on Kosovo has been postponed. We have to wait until June. June is when we're going to have the vote, or like the EBU will vote on Kosovo's broadcaster and see if they can join actually the EBU. But if they vote yes, then they have every right to take part. The news that I know that this becomes always a political touchy subject because, the situation with Kosovo, they need a 2/3 majority of the vote to go through, right? There are 56 member states, so there are a lot of numbers. Let's see what else. So they're going to do it next summer. I'm trying to see if I missed any of the other details. Since the declaration of independence in 2008, I'm just going to give you the quick breakdown. Kosovo wanted to join the EBU and the contest for quite some time. The recent talks have been quite exciting, but there's still a lot of pushback, especially from countries like Serbia, right? And its allies. But they have taken part in other contests like the Eurovision Young Dancers and so on and so on. So we have to wait and see, but for 2019, it is not going to happen. But hey, could be worse, right? So let's talk about what's really important though, and that is the music. A lot has happened this week as far as releases are concerned, updates and news. And I don't know if you had a chance, but I have been on the road, and that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to listen to most of the songs. So first of all, Albania. As you know, Festival, I almost said the Canção, but that's the Portuguese one. The Kangas is taking place in just a few weeks, about 2 weeks from now, or less than, no, 2 weeks. The final will take place. We're going to have the semifinals of first, and Albania will most likely be the first country to choose its song and act of the 2019 season. So hopefully you'll be around right before Christmas. I'll be here. We're going to do a pre and post show, so hopefully you'll be there for that as well. But the reason why I'm bringing it up is because we have the snippets out ish. So the snippets are available of the Albanian songs so far, and I'm sure we get the full songs in the near future as well. And you can listen to them. They are posted on our page, ESCunited.com. And I will do that as well. I haven't had a chance yet. There are 22 of them. I may wait until all the songs are out, but if you cannot wait, feel free to do so. Feel free to do so. I'm sure that there is something out there for you. Let's see. I see if you could. When do you think the full songs will be released for the Albanian selection? The snippets are out on Boxer. I just talked about, they're out. As far as the full songs are concerned, we've got them fairly well in advance the last year. So I don't know if they're going to pull a Melodifestivalen and will not release the whole songs until that night. But I think we should get them within the next few days, like within the next week or so. That would be my guess. So just hold on, be patient, and we'll get them. So don't worry about it too much. But we'll get them before the contest, I'm pretty sure, if we look at prior patterns and how they've handled it. So that would be my guess. What about Kazakhstan? They participated in JESC. They will be really good. We're talking about, Kosovo not taking part. Kazakhstan will also not be in the contest. They are not a full EBU member. They're only an associated members. Therefore, they are not eligible to take part unless they receive a special invitation from the EBU, kind of like Australia, right? So Kazakhstan doesn't have the right to take part. They will need to get really like, come on aboard. And it didn't happen this year. It happened for the Junior Eurovision, and they delivered, boy. So I said it before, and I'll say it again in case you didn't know. I believe that Kazakhstan will join the contest either in 2020, but no later than 21. That is my guess. Not next year, obviously. That has been completely ruled out. But in the future, I think it'll happen. They got their feet wet in Junior, and it's only a matter of time until they join the full contest. So I'm really excited about that. I think they should join. If they're going to deliver like they did in Junior, heck yeah. Heck the hell yeah. What else is saying? What is happening with Switzerland? I don't know what's happening with Switzerland. They're not going to release anything. They're going to have an internal selection, and they will release their song. They get pretty closer to the deadline, I think, in early mid-March. So you will have to be patient with Switzerland, unfortunately, unless something crazy is going to happen. Anyway, so Albania, as I pointed out, has the snippets released. Check them out. Also, finally, Latvia has announced the 16 songs that will be in Supernova, the Latvian national selection. Previously, there were 83 submissions, and then they narrowed it down to 33 auditions, and now the final 16 have been announced. That is cool. They narrowed it down the list to 16 acts, as pointed out. They will compete in the semifinals, one of the semifinals of Supernova, and then in January, obviously, and then one of them will represent Latvia at Eurovision 2019 if they win the grand final. There are a bunch of familiar faces in there. Two of them that stood out to me are Marcus Riva and Samantha Tina. Both of them survived the audition stage and are now in the running. Both of them have tried to represent Latvia on a gazillion different occasions. They really want to go to Eurovision. And they are back in the running. I haven't listened to the songs yet, but I will do that next. It's on my to-do list the next days, so you'll see the video. They're in there. Also, Edgars Kreilis has taken part quite a few times, wanting to represent Latvia. And then Kosmins, better known as the man behind Riga Beaver, our little idol, also made the final cut, but this time not as the Beaver, but as a participant. So I'm really, really interested in see how that's all going to pan out. I don't know if you had a chance to listen to the clips yet. I will do that next. But the songs are out. The 16 finalists have been announced. Let's see where they are going to take us with their music. I'm really, really excited. So that is where we are with Latvia, but we have so much more. Hungary, Adal, one of my favorite national finals in recent years. And since Hungary came back, in 2011. So what happened with Hungary? They returned to the contest in 2005, qualified then, and then that kind of flopped at the contest for a few years. So they withdrew for 1 year, I think, in 2010. Came back in 2011 and then just qualified every single time since 2011. What an amazing track record. Not many countries can beat that right now. And they are eager to do the same thing again next year with Adal, a very successful selection process. And they have announced the 30... Was it 30? That's right. It's 30 acts. That's a lot of songs to go through. But hey, it's so worth it. All will compete in the national final for 2019. There will be multiple semifinals, and then we'll move on to the finals, right? Pointed out, Adal is the show. I love it very much. The song quality is always high up there. And let's see who else. 30 acts will compete, as I said, and the winner will be decided across a total of 6 televised shows, 3 heats, consisting of 10 songs. There will be 2 semifinals, actually, and then the big final. And then we'll move on with 8 finalists that will take part in the big final. There's a long list. You can see them on ESCunited.com. So go there if you want to. Just to talk about some of the names that we may recognize, you may recognize, and once again, I'm butchering the name, Papai Joki. He recently represented Hungary last year in 2017 with the song Origo, and he did really, really well, finishing 8th place overall. A top 10 result, not too shabby, and the song was immensely popular amongst the Eurovision fans and the general crowd. It was had ethnic sounds to it, like, local to Hungary, and that I really, really appreciated. It was a good, solid song. Very happy for him to come back. I haven't listened to the song yet, so I cannot speak on what the song quality. There are more familiar names. Andras Kalai Saunders. You may remember him from 2014. Because I'm running. He actually finished in 5th place in 2014, and another amazing outcome. He went back to Adal before as part of the Kalai Saunders band. Now he is back in the competition, but under a group name now. It's called the Middletons. Okay, we have to wait and see what their sound's going to be like. He has a very diverse style. So let's wait and see. So one of the best results for Hungary, actually, 2014, 5th place. Still, the best result today was actually the year they debuted in 1994, a 4th place. Can they beat it this year? And then there are a bunch of returnees, like who've taken part in Adal before. The few that come to mind to me is Adam Sabo. He already took part 4 times in Adal. This is his 5th participation. Still hasn't won yet. Maybe this year is going to be his year. Vavra, he 2016 and 18 took part. And there are others that Petruska took part in 2016. Leander Kills took part 3 times. They're back. So a lot of familiar names trying their luck again. The question is one of them moving on to Eurovision or one of the newbies that is taking part? Who are you mostly excited about? I would love to hear, actually. So I see a lot of questions popping up. What do you think about the Estonian national final unboxer? I will post my first video probably later tonight. I just need to finish up the editing part of it, and then you'll find out. So I'm not going to spoil the video. So somebody else asking, when will you post the reactions to all the NS? Starting tonight. And it'll continue. So don't worry. I just had to work a lot these past few weeks. Somebody saying, Killy in particular, boy, am I not excited for Latvia this year. I've heard a lot of complaints about Latvia. I try not to take it too hard because I haven't listened to them yet. Maybe I'll disagree, but there seems to be very little excitement about the song selection, which is unfortunate, but hey, you never know. I may be surprised, so I am keeping my hopes up. Saying Adal is a very strong year this year. They're always strong. I mean, I haven't seen a bad year yet. Some are better than others, of course. It's just how it goes. Subjective, comes down to personal taste, right? But I personally like it every year. So I have no doubt in my mind it's going to be great this year as well. So we have to wait and see. Hopefully you listen to the songs. I have not, because I don't want to spoil it for my video. Also, a few more updates. France. Destination Eurovision, as we all know, was very popular. The national final last year, they're bringing it back. A few tweaks here and there. For the most part, it stays the same. And they finally have announced Now, not that much. They gave us a list of the 18 acts to take part in the contest, but we don't have a song or the songs yet or anything. So the acts itself, I believe, are not necessarily well known, so it doesn't give us a whole lot. But at least we know that there are going to be 18 acts. We have the pictures. Now we have to wait for the songs. Destination Eurovision was very popular last year, and it worked well, was well received. They made a few tweaks, as I pointed out. There will be 3 shows, just like last year, 2 semis and 1 final. The difference is the semis previously or last year that they were actually recorded and then shown, they will be live. They will be live, just like the final, and that is way better. That means also the audience will have a much bigger say in the semis as well. There will be an expert panel as in previous years, but unlike last year, where they decided the semifinalists, they're only there to express their opinions, their thoughts, kind of like they have in American Idol, or any of the other shows often. And ultimately, it will be up to the international juries and all that stuff, right, and the televoters. So they will no longer have an impact as far as voting is concerned. But of course, people are always influenced by, not all people, everyone, but a lot of people are influenced by what they're saying. Then an international jury, as I pointed out, of 20 members, and the televote will split the decision by a 50-50 kind of breakout across all 3 live shows to decide who will be the winner ultimately. And that's basically where we're at in France. They're really working on their process. As I said, hopefully they're going to stick to it. It was great last year. I expect great things this year. We have to wait and see how it's going to pan out. A few more questions coming in. Let's see if there are... Official ESC is asking, what do you think about the national selection of the UK EuroDecide 2019? They have only 3 singers performing each of the 3 songs, a different version that reminds me of Germany 2017. Absolutely. I don't know what they're thinking, and I'm just going to answer I'm going to be honest here. I see a lot of trouble for the UK. You never know. It could work out in the end. There's always the chance. But the setup, I strongly dislike. Germany 2017 is a fantastic example. I don't like it when songs are being written and then you just throw an act on there and see if it works. Write the song with the act in mind. So the vocal range works, the arrangement works, and all of that stuff. There is the connection there. I am very concerned for the UK this year. I want them to do well. But my first impression is, hot dog. I'm just not convinced. I'm not convinced. Okay, so let me see a couple of questions here. Eurovision Online is asking, do you think that if Australia wins Eurovision, it would be held in Sydney? Come on, there would be a massive ratings and maybe a Kylie and Danny duet as an Annabelle. Eurovision Online, if Australia wins, it'll not be hosted in Australia. That has already been announced by the EBU. It would be logistically a nightmare. Having all the European acts fly over to Australia with all the equipment, no. And not only that, the timing is off. Australia is so far away from the schedule of Eurovision, it wouldn't work. It just would not work. So Australia will not host the contest even if they win the contest, if they win Eurovision. That has been announced by the EBU, and I don't think they're going to change that. It would be a logistic nightmare. And so don't get your hopes up. One more question before I move on. ESVLV97. What do you think of Sergei Lazarev rumors to represent Russia this year? Well, if you followed my Twitter handle, if you're not on Twitter, what's wrong with you? I reacted on it already. If you watched us for years, I was a big Sergei Lazarev fan. It was like my favorite interview. I would be thrilled. I'm always worried because he got so much accomplished at Eurovision. How can you beat that? Yes, he could win, technically, right? But it's always difficult. But if it happens, I would be Team Sergei probably. Yes, I would wait for the song, of course, but I'm a big fan of his music. And my fingers and toes are crossed, but we have to wait and see. He could pull a Dima Bilan. Dima came back in 2008, won, beating his second place. So you never know. But I would be thrilled. Sergei had the funniest interview. I remember asking him, so between all your crazy sketch, because he actually had where he passed out on stage due to exhaustion. I'm like, what do you do to relax in between? Just to kind of shut down and just focus on Sergei's health. And he's like, sex. I'm like, oh, I didn't see that coming. But it cracked me up. He is funny. So, so Jordan is saying, as an Englishman, I completely agree about the UK's selection method. It just feels wrong. It does. And again, it could work ultimately, right? There is a chance it could work. But Jade, with my time, it worked, but only because it was the perfect singer for the song, right? If you don't have the right singer for the song, and I just don't like the disjointed effort. I'm surprised that the UK goes down that road, knowing what Germany had to go through. But hey, people don't get it. So anyway, so this is what we are with all the national finals. There's so much going on. Let me know what other news you want to talk about. I know there's a lot going on, and me being gone for like 4 or 5 days this week, I was like, oh my god, I cannot keep up with it. Now, the things that I'm very surprised about is that Austria hasn't announced anything yet. I know that there's supposed to be some news eventually, but usually they're one of the first ones to announce at least the act, not the song itself. But hey, we have to wait and see. Just some other quick updates that in case you are not aware, just we talked about Sergei Lazarev potentially becoming the representative. We don't know yet, but the rumor mill always gets things wrong anyway. The broadcaster said that the participant, the representative for Russia, the announcement is expected in late January to early February. So we still have a little bit of time to kill until that, but at least we have it sooner than later, the name. And then the song, probably, they always wait until the very last minute to release. So don't expect the song to come out for Russia until like mid-March, close to the deadline. Unless they surprise us again, but that's usually what we expect. But at least we'll have a name late January, early February. Apparently, there have been reports out. The head of delegation initially said that the artist would be revealed in Azerbaijan in 2 weeks, but apparently that is incorrect. The head of delegation said, nope, that is not going to happen. So I'm not sure if they're just trying to bring down the hype or they're going to actually put it out there. I don't know. But there have been so many rumors going around, we may or may not find out in 2 weeks about the Azerbaijani representative. I personally don't think it's going to happen, but we have to wait and see. It would be nice to have more names, right? It would be just, we have only Armenia so far. And somebody asked earlier, isn't it a fairly slow season so far as like announcements are concerned? Last year we had a few more. Yes. So yes, we already have, no, we only have one so far, right? Armenia is the only act we know so far. Last year, around this time, we had at least a little bit more information. So, but it's how it goes. I wish we had more names, but at least we get more to talk about. And it's not like slow season as far as like the song selection, announcement and reveals are concerned. There's plenty of stuff to do and so many songs to listen to. So I am not bored. I just wish we had a little bit more data here. What do you think about the first Australian national selection artist? In my opinion, Shepard is amazing pick to represent Australia. I would agree with you, actually. Shepard was the first one that stood out to me. A lot of these acts in Australia are actually pretty well known, right? Some more than others, but they take it seriously there. I'm really, really excited about the Australian national final. It's going to be a big hype. Hopefully they're going to live up to it, but we have to wait and see on that one as well. But I'm glad that they're doing it. I want every country to do a national final. That is my hope, and I'm glad that Australia is joining the fun. Oh my god, Billy the Extinguisher is back. Welcome back, I miss you. How is Lisbon? Have you had a chance to view the first 4 artists revealed for Australia Decides? I briefly glanced over them. I pay less attention to the acts itself. I'm waiting. I'd prefer to wait until the actual song release. I had them up here a few minutes ago. Let me bring them up again. The ones that were announced a few days ago, let's bring them up here real quick. It's loading as we speak. So as you said, the 4 ones were Shepard, that was pointed out. That one I know. Kate Miller-Heidke, she's pretty well known. I knew her. And the 2 I personally not familiar with, but you tell me if they are. Mark Vincent and Electric Fields. Shepard, again, was the one that stands out to me. Electric Fields has the kind of music that I like. So we have to wait and see how they're going to deliver. Kate, she is very well known, singer-songwriter. She had some really good music as well. Some really good music. So I am personally very much excited about the lineup. But you never know what they're going to send. I'm not trying to hype them too much and then I listen to the song and be like, eh. So, but I am cautiously optimistic that this is going to be a good song selection. Good evening, Anton, by the way. I see you screaming at me. So that is where we're at with Australia. But as you can see, there are so many things happening right now. Even though we don't have a name, we don't have any songs yet, it's okay to me because there's always plenty to talk about. And now that the busiest time of the year for me, work-wise, is done, I can now focus on Eurovision 100%. And Junior Eurovision is over. It's all about this. Let me know if anything else you want to talk about, because now is the time. We're going to open up the general Q&A session. If you have any questions about Eurovision in general, anything about national finals, song selection, and 2019 news that I haven't addressed, feel free to do so now. Or if you have just questions about Tel Aviv, anything, my thoughts, my impression, this is your time. Put at ESCunited so I see your questions and I know it's not just general chatter. And then we'll answer the questions to the best of my abilities. Austria will maybe select a song and a very catchy but too much 3945 style Hyann Fischer. I cannot click on the link right now because I'm live streaming, but is that like a homage to Helene Fischer, the famous German country Schlager singer? Huh, that would be funny. That would be interesting. I'm gonna check that out later, my friend. So we'll go from there. Why you and your colleagues so much wanted Cyprus to win and not the special Israeli song? The Austrian song was already much better than the Cypriot song. Well, this is not... Here's the thing. A couple of my friends wanted Cyprus to win. My favorite was Austria. My second favorite was Israel. So I was totally team Austria and Israel that year. So I can only speak on my behalf. I liked Cyprus too. Cyprus was so much fun. But I was slightly rooting for Israel over Cyprus based on personal taste and just originality, if that makes any sense. So no, I was completely team Israel. Austria would have been great, but I've been to Austria just a few years ago for Eurovision, so I was actually more team Israel because I wanted to go to Israel, and it worked. So no, not everyone. I know Fernanda really wanted Cyprus to win. I don't know about the rest, but keep in mind, Cyprus Fuego is very Eurovision fan friendly, right? It's a bop, it's a dance song. Yes, Israel is too, but it's a little bit more polarizing. I get that, but you want to have a polarizing entry because you don't want to have a song that's just somewhere in between. So I was team Israel, so I cannot speak on anyone else's behalf. Let's see if your questions. Any words on when the tickets will go on sale and how many? Starhopper is asking. The first tickets allegedly will go on sale in December. We don't have an exact date yet. That is subject to change. They just throw it out there. We don't know how many. Again, it's a very small arena. Don't expect more than 9,000 tickets to go on, not on sale even, be available. A big chunk of them are being put aside for delegations, special things. So there's a potentially only be like 5,000-6,000 tickets for sale overall. I don't know. It's going to be horrible. So make sure you're online as they go on sale. The second they go online. It's going to be a bloodbath. So I don't know if you'll be able to get some, fingers and toes crossed. But it should be in December, the first wave. Keep in mind that we'll do multiple waves of tickets. So if you don't get it the first time, don't quit. Don't give up. You can still do it the second time around as well. Have you already listened to Estonia, Latvia, and those 1630 Hungary songs? Estonia, the video will be up today. As I said earlier, the first semifinal of my reaction will be up. It'll also have your votes, because you guys got to vote as well in the poll, so we're going to compare my top 5 to your top 5 and see if we agree or don't. This is the first semifinal. I'll do a separate video for the second one. If you want to vote in the poll, make sure to subscribe to our channel. I will post it in the community area shortly. Jordan ESC, regardless of the song, what country would you like to win so you can go? This is exactly how I approach Eurovision anyway, my friend. I don't care about the songs. I want to go to places that I haven't been to yet. I know it's the worst thing to do as a true Eurovision fan, and in reality, it's not that way. But, you know, in my mind, the perfect case scenario is to have a country I haven't been to with a fantastic song. But songs aside, because we don't have any yet, I would love to go to Malta and Croatia are probably on my high priority list, right? Those two are like, oh my god, I haven't really been there yet. I haven't been to ex-Yugoslavia and countries in general, so any of them would be great. Imagine Macedonia or Montenegro winning. Something like that. Ex-Yugoslavian countries, Croatia probably at the top of my list right now. I would love to go to Malta, as pointed out. Let me think. I've been to Czech Republic before twice, so technically I shouldn't go put them on my list, but I love that country so much that I think I want to go back there. So that would be kind of cool. And then, let me think. Yeah, those would be my first countries that come to mind. It was Portugal until a couple of years ago, high on the list. Now they won, so we're good to go. Israel was high up on my list. We're going now, so that's good. So this is really, really cool. But that's basically mine. Who do you think should represent Ireland at Eurovision? I don't know that many Irish singers, to be honest. I don't know. I didn't know any of the singers. Actually, I knew Nicky Byrne when he represented Ireland, but other than that, I never know the acts anyway. I don't know if you need to have a big name. I just want you to go back to a national final. Yes, you sent an internal song, and it kind of worked, right? You qualified, so that's a great accomplishment. But, you know, a clock is wrong, a broken watch is right twice a day as well, they say. So, I don't know. I wish you would go back to a national final. That's all I'm saying. When will you do the Maltese reaction video? It'll come. Hopefully this week as well. I'm going to do a lot of videos. I'm going to squeeze it in, Stefan, if I can. I know it's been busy. So I see a lot of names being thrown around for Australia. Somebody saying Delta Goodrem will enter Australia. Oh, no. Do you think that? No, I don't think she will. I don't think. She would probably go if she were chosen internally, maybe. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know what's to gain for her unless you have that patriotic approach about representing your country. But other than that, I don't see it happening. Somebody thinks that Veronica's will be announced soon. That would be kind of cool, but I wish we would focus less on the name, but actually on the music. I know a lot of people get excited about big names, and sometimes I fall victim to that as well. But overall, I like the underdogs, the acts that are not well known and really leave an impression at Eurovision. Netta wasn't a big name, and look at her now. Salvador Sobral, who was that? And he won over the hearts. So something like that, that is what I'm hoping for. So we have to wait and see. Somebody saying, I live in Tel Aviv. If you need a place to stay during Eurovision, I have a problem finding accommodation, contact me. I can at least host two of you. Well, I already have a place with my buddy. We were staying close to the arena. We booked early, so we got a pretty darn good deal. So, and I always try to stay close to the arena because, you know, that's where I spend a big chunk, the majority of my time. And then that's what I'm going to do. So I'm good to go. I'm just so stoked. I actually get to spend some extra time in Israel. So I'm going to fly in. And then I'm going to spend, after Eurovision, I'm going to spend a few days there because I want to see Jerusalem. So I'm going to go over there for 2 or 3 nights. So I'm not leaving right away. I'm so excited. It's going to be the trip of a lifetime. Elad 2011 is saying, I think the hosts need to be more noticeable, maybe in the postcards with all the singers. That would be an interesting approach, that they kind of start the podcast, postcards, and just like, welcome to Israel. Here is Belgium. That kind of thing. That would be kind of cool, as long as they don't take over the postcards. But I think about, and I'm always using Sweden 2016 as a prime example because I think it was such an effective show. You knew the hosts so well, you've gotten to know them and like them because they were part of the Innoval Act. They have cute little skits here and there. Something like that they need to put together for the hosts as well. Make us a little bit connect with them more and without taking over the entire show. It's not an easy thing to do, right? Get that accomplished, but something down that line I'm hoping for. Yosin is asking, do you think that the Netherlands should have a national final? Okay, this is Netherlands is the total exception to the rule here, right? The Netherlands, I wish they would have a national final, but since they've been selecting songs internally, they qualified almost every single year, with the exception of 2015, right? Now, that is quite an accomplishment. Yes, they haven't been in the top 10 since 2014, but regardless of that, they finished 11th twice, right? So they're always, or usually on the left side of the scoreboard, except last year, but they're qualified. Qualification in itself is a big accomplishment. The Netherlands is doing something right with internal selections. And I don't know if they should break that, because, you know, why fix something that's not broken? You know, one bush in your hand is better than two in the bush. I'm just going through all of my expressions. Okay. Oh, Eurotowely. You are my favorite. What? Thank you so much for the super chat. This always helps because our team expenses are insane. Would love if Alf Poyer, Austria 2003, would return for Austria. He would be so funny. Austria is my favorite ESC countries and in general. I agree with almost everything that you said. Austria is one of my favorite countries. I've been there like 3 or 4 times in the past 5 years. I always stop there. I love it. I love it. And lately, they're one of my favorite Eurovision countries as well. Since Conchita took over, they own Eurovision to me. I loved Conchita. She was my favorite. I loved Zoe. Luandisi, one of my, potentially my favorite, along with Sergey. I loved Cesar Sampson. Was my favorite. I like Nathan Trent. He was so adorable. So I love Austria at Eurovision right now. So hopefully they're going to continue. As far as Alf Poyer, yes, I loved his 2003 entry. I didn't think I was going to. If he could come up with something similar, would be polarizing, probably destroyed by the juries, but it would be so much fun and something daring. Now, that being said, he tried to go back to Eurovision a few years later, maybe 2007, I don't remember, and his song, Good Old Europe is Dying, I hate it. I felt as it was too negative, too political, and just not right for Eurovision. The televoters liked it, the juries did not. And I was not a fan of that one. So that's why I'm a little skeptical. I don't know where Alf would go with his music, but I had so much fun with him. Absolutely. I totally get it. I totally get your approach there. As far as like who should be represented by the Netherlands, Niels Reviews Music is asking. I don't know. Again, I don't know that many artists except for the Eurovision artists that have taken part as well. Of course, I always loved Within Temptation, but I don't think they would ever do Eurovision. Give me a few names and see if I know them. I can look them up. I can look them up afterwards and see who I prefer. I'm happy to do that. That's always fun. I can think of anyone at the top of my head that I would want to see at Eurovision unless we talk about acts that have been to Eurovision before. Quick question. What do you think of the official logo on Eurovision 2019? Last year it was shellfishes and 2017 Ukraine had beads. What would it be in 2019? It's tough. I don't know what they're going to do. And the slogan itself is fairly safe, good, but it could be very playful. So I don't know if they're going to with something that represents peace. I think they really just want to get something that seems more inclusive rather than going with something that is specifically Israeli. That would be my guess, but I have no idea. I'm always trying to sit down and think, what would make sense? What would really be the proper logo? And I can come up with that. I'm not creative like that. It's just not something that my brain allows me to do. So, but we have to wait and see. I think they can do a lot. I just hope it's not going to be an underlining political statement. That's always my fear, but hopefully that's not going to be the case. A question about other non-participating countries. Philippines. Who are interested of broadcasting or reporting about the ESC? Are they allowed to? Okay, this is a more tricky answer. As far as other countries wanting to take part, I'm sure there are a bunch of countries that would be interested, but they're not even being really considered. The one that came real, starting in 2014 was China, right? China started broadcasting the contest, got the rights, sent like Chinese delegations and journalists to Eurovision, and really left an impact. That's why a lot of rumors started talking about, is China potentially interested in joining the contest, right? But that is now off the table because in case you didn't know, China last year did not broadcast 2 of the songs due to Chinese law. One of them was Ireland because of the gay dance. The 2 gay male singer dancers in the back, right? We cannot promote anything gay, so they cut that out. And they also cut out Albania because they're not allowed to show tattoos on TV. And that is obviously completely against the Eurovision and EBU rules. Therefore, they pulled their licenses, so we should not expect China in Eurovision or even broadcasting Eurovision in the near future. So that's out. So similar rules will probably apply to a lot of other countries. As far as like taking part, besides Kazakhstan, I don't see any other non-EBU countries joining the contest in the near future. And I don't know other countries that have voiced their opinion. I mean, I'm sure there are countries that voiced the desire, but they were shut down pretty early because it's just not feasible. It's just not feasible. As far as the Philippines are concerned, did they voice their interest? But it's just not going to happen. Why would they let... They can all take part in the Eurovision Asia thing if this finally materializes. But that is always a different story. So I don't think any other Asian countries will be left into the contest with the hopefully upcoming Asia Vision contest. Thank you, Euro Italy, for supporting us. I saw your other message. I really, really appreciate it. Somebody's saying, no matter what they do for the logo, it will be controversial. You know what? I'll give you that. Some people read a lot into things that they should not read things into, right? I get that. You could put just a regular heart. I'm like, why are you putting a heart in there? Are you trying to take someone's heart? It's always like that. So I'm sure there will be always some controversy, but that comes with the territory when it comes to hosting in Israel, right? But I'm trying to stay away from that. So, as I pointed out, stay tuned for more videos coming from me. I will finish up the Estonian video, the first one today, hopefully. I decided to do some more editing and then upload it. It always takes some time. But it will be up no later tomorrow morning. And then every day, every other day, you should expect more videos coming the next week. And more live streams. More live streams now that the Eurovision season is slowly picking up. And mark your calendars for the festival. The Kangas, the Albanian one, I think it's the 20th, the 21st, and the 22nd of December. We'll have a bunch of live streams on that as well. We get to talk about it. So that is super, super exciting. Okay, one more question before I let you guys go. Turkey was in the EBU meeting last week. What do you think about that? A possible comeback? I'm sure a lot of people in charge want Turkey to return, but it's the upper management, the people in charge, the government, of course, as well as the top people at the broadcaster. You heard the statements that they made about Eurovision and Conchita Wurst in particular and why they don't want to take part. They come up with excuses, blaming the juries, blaming the Big Five, but ultimately the country is going through some times that they need to figure out who they are and what they want to be in the future. And understand that there are a lot of people, millions and millions, that really want to be part of the contest, and it sucks for them, and my heart breaks for them. But we have to wait and see what's going to happen in that country and with the leadership. I don't see them joining in the near future. They're still in the EBU, so I guess they're eligible to go to all these meetings, would be my guess, but if I were you, I wouldn't hold my breath until God knows when. But I want them back. I mean, that's a very different story. So here I'm going to call it quits for today. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. I will be back soon. More videos to come, more live streams. The Eurovision season has finally picked up. And get ready. In the meantime, have a good day. Have a good night. See you soon. Bye.